Why America is losing influence in these 10 countries in 2025. The global balance of power is shifting rapidly. America's dominance, once uncontested after the Cold War, is now facing unprecedented challenges. Geopolitical rivals, economic shifts, and growing anti-US sentiment are causing America to lose influence in key regions around the world. In this video, we'll explore the 10 countries where American sway is declining, and why. Number 10. Germany. In Europe, Germany's relationship with the US has become more complicated. While still a NATO ally, Berlin is increasingly frustrated with Washington's pressure over defense spending and geopolitical strategies regarding Russia and China. Germany is focusing on building stronger economic ties within Europe and with China, its largest trading partner. The fallout from energy disputes and America's handling of global conflicts has driven many Germans to question the reliability of US leadership. Additionally, there is growing momentum within Germany and the EU to push for greater autonomy in security and economic matters, reducing dependence on the United States. Number 9. Mexico. Even though Mexico shares a long border and deep economic ties with the U.S., 2025 sees Mexico increasingly asserting its independence from Washington's influence. The rise of nationalist and left-leaning governments has led to resistance against U.S. intervention in domestic affairs, particularly around energy policy and labor reforms. Mexico is also deepening relations with China and other BRICS Plus countries, participating in infrastructure and energy projects without direct U.S. involvement. Trade diversification efforts and discontent over U.S. immigration and border policies have created friction between the two neighbors, contributing to a decline in America's sway. Number 8. Pakistan. U.S.-Pakistan relations have cooled significantly. Islamabad has grown closer to China through the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, a vital part of Beijing's Belt and Road Initiative. Pakistan also has a strengthening relationship with Russia, which is helping diversify its arms imports away from U.S. and Western suppliers. Moreover, the perception that Washington prioritizes its ties with India over Pakistan has further damaged relations. In 2025, anti-U.S. sentiment is strong, and the Pakistani government is seeking new strategic alliances that reduce its reliance on American military and financial aid. Number 7. Venezuela. Despite U.S. sanctions and pressure campaigns, Nicolas Maduro's government has survived and even thrived in some ways. In 2025, Venezuela is heavily aligned with China and Russia, both of which are investing in its oil and mining sectors. The U.S. push for regime change has backfired, fostering anti-American sentiment among many Venezuelans. Furthermore, Venezuela has joined other Latin American countries in promoting regional integration efforts that exclude the U.S., such as ALBA and CELAC. America's waning economic leverage, coupled with growing South-South cooperation, has left Washington marginalized in Venezuelan affairs. Number 6. Iran. Iran's adversarial relationship with the U.S. continues to worsen. After unsuccessful nuclear deal negotiations and increased American sanctions, Tehran has bolstered its ties with China and Russia, both of whom oppose U.S. influence in the region. In 2025, Iran is leading efforts to build an anti-Western economic bloc within the Middle East, promoting trade deals that exclude the U.S. dollar. Moreover, Iran's soft power is expanding, as it presents itself as a counterweight to Western interventionism. The decline of American influence is also visible in Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon, where Iran's proxies are gaining strength. Number 5. South Africa. South Africa's growing alignment with BRICS Plus and its critical stance on Western intervention in African affairs have distanced it from American influence. Pretoria has been vocal about advocating for a restructured global financial system less dependent on the U.S. dollar. Additionally, South Africa's push for Pan-Africanism, coupled with its increased economic ties to China and Russia, has made it more resistant to Western diplomatic pressures. In 2025, the U.S. has struggled to counter South Africa's criticism of American foreign policy, particularly in Africa, where Washington's initiatives are seen by some as neo-colonial. Number 4. Saudi Arabia. Once a cornerstone of American influence in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia is now actively diversifying its foreign relations. The kingdom is building stronger economic ties with China and Russia, especially in the energy sector. In 2025, Saudi Arabia joined BRICS+, signaling a move toward a multipolar world order. The rise of Vision 2030 and Riyadh's pursuit of economic diversification have also shifted the focus toward non-Western investments. Tensions with the U.S. over human rights issues and America's reduced dependence on Middle Eastern oil have weakened the traditional strategic partnership, leaving room for alternative powers to gain influence. Number 3. Turkey. Turkey, a NATO ally, has been drifting away from the United States for years, but in 2025, that gap has widened. President Erdogan's government is increasingly turning toward Eurasian partnerships, strengthening ties with Russia, China, and Iran. Turkish public opinion has grown more skeptical of the U.S., especially after perceived American support for Kurdish groups and the failed coup attempt in 2016, which many Turks believe the U.S. was indirectly involved in. Turkey is also pivoting toward its ambitions as a regional power, investing in its defense industry and reducing reliance on Western arms imports, undermining Washington's military influence. Number 2. Russia. U.S.-Russia relations have hit rock bottom in 2025. After years of sanctions, NATO expansion, and growing military support for Ukraine and other Eastern European nations, Russia has fortified its anti-American stance. Moscow is deepening ties with China, Iran, and other non-Western countries to counteract what it perceives as U.S. aggression. Additionally, Russia's focus on the Arctic and its partnerships in energy deals with Asia are giving it leverage outside of Western-dominated institutions. Anti-U.S. propaganda is widespread within Russia, creating a domestic narrative of resilience against Western interference, further diminishing America's soft power. Number 1. China. America's rivalry with China has reached new heights. The ongoing trade war, combined with rising tensions over Taiwan and the South China Sea, has pushed Beijing to reduce its economic reliance on the United States. Instead, China is focusing on building alternative alliances through initiatives like the Belt and Road Project and expanding BRICS+ partnerships. With China investing heavily in Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia, many countries now view Beijing as a more reliable partner compared to Washington. Furthermore, China's growing technological advancements in AI, 5G, and green energy are enabling it to compete directly with American companies, further eroding U.S. influence inside China. The world of 2025 is markedly different from the unipolar era that followed the Cold War. Multipolarity is here. From Latin America to Asia and Africa to Europe, America's grip is loosening. Economic realignments, cultural shifts, and geopolitical rivalries are changing the game. The U.S. still remains a global superpower, but its influence is no longer absolute. As countries carve out independent paths, Washington will need to adapt to a world where power is more evenly distributed. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into global affairs. What do you think about America's declining influence? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.